Hey, so amazing. You see how they playing? LiveWire, it's all about sports and entertainment. You don't wanna miss it, so official like you never seen. Keep it going till the whistle blowing from the referee. Everything from highlights and stats. You know that we gotta run it back, whether on the field or the court. You know that this is where it's at. Subscribe, no delaying. This is LiveWire, sports and entertainment. Let's go.
All right, what's good, everyone? Welcome to another LiveWire Sports Media update. All right, so I have been sitting on this video for a whole minute. I wanted to release it a couple of days ago, but I decided against it because after yesterday's events, I wanted to compile a little bit more information into why I feel this video is necessary. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about the Indiana Fever, Kelly Krauskopf, whatever. Yeah, Krauskopf. The new president of the Indiana Fever, who was recently with the Indiana Fever back in the day, helped them to the playoff finals and won a WNBA title. She was recently with the Indiana Fever, who helped build the Indiana Fever and everything. But this particular video, because there's going to be a part two, because I want to tackle some more stuff from her press conference, talk about team building and all that stuff. But this one is particularly about the coaching. Now, if you don't know what I mean, I want to elaborate a little bit more about it so you can get a clear understanding of what I'm talking about. So she had a press conference yesterday, and it seemed like there was such a big uproar about Christy size, her future with the team. So I'm gonna show you something real quick before I get deeper into this. Now, what you're looking at right now is my thumbnail for this team. Up top to your right is Lynn Dunn. Lynn Dunn was the GM for the Indiana Fever. You know, she used to be the coach at some point in time. She helped build the Seattle Storm, so forth and so on. So when Kelly got introduced to the Indiana Fever as going to be taking over the marketing and the business side of everything, people wanted to know what was Lynn Dunn, what was Christy size. So enter Amy Cox down to the bottom to move Lynn Dunn out to a senior advisory. That means Lynn Dunn doesn't have too much of an input. They could consult her about some things, but they don't have to. Now, Kelly did mention in her press conference yesterday that her and Amy will be making the decisions. They will be making any of the decisions. Now, also in the press conference, she did say later on that she would lean on Lynn Dunn to ask us some stuff, pick up her brain and stuff like that. You know, she known Lynn Dunn for a long, long time because, you know, like I said, Lynn Dunn and her go way back because Lynn Dunn used to be the coach there and everything. All right. So now up to my top left, you see Christy sides, right? All right. So Christy side's future with the WNBA hangs in a balance. And what I mean by hanging in a balance is that because she been with the Fever for 2 years, past this season, 2 years. Linda hired her. Kelly didn't hire her. Linda hired her. Now let's think back early in the season when we was talking about extension. We was talking about how Christy Size needed to get fired because the fact of the matter is that Christy Size didn't know how to utilize Caitlin Clark. The team was all out of sorts. Second half of the season, they did some team bonding. The players did some team bonding. Christy Size brought in a former coach to help her with the team. The team seemed like they took off. They went 7-4 around that stretch in the second half after the break. So now, if you look at the bottom, there's a blank space, right? I'm going to get to that blank space in a minute because I want y'all to understand something. Kelly said something pretty profound in her press conference, and it's about Christy Sides that had Twitter and a lot of content creators going crazy saying that, hey, well, we stuck with Christy Sides. Christy Sides is not going to be here. Oh, no, Christy Sides is going to still be here. We need to fire Christy Sides. So I'm going to shed some light on the comments because one thing you're going to have to understand is that because somebody said something in the press conference, it's not always actually factual. And we see this so many times in sports where new regime comes in. 9 times out of 10, they will already have an idea where the team going. So I'm going to play the clip for you. Then I'm going to come back and elaborate more so you could get a general understanding of why I'm saying the things that I'm saying right now.
Mentioned evaluating everything, just kind of looking back on this season, last season, kind of from across the street, just how would you evaluate Christy Sides and kind of her performance as a first-time head coach so far?
Yeah, I mean, what a roller coaster ride for her. I was smart enough to know that the schedule was stacked against a young team early in the season, and the way that they weathered the storm, got into a groove, after the Olympic break. I mean, I think she finished 18-12, after those first 10 games, and then of course went 7-4 in the last 11, and 3 of those losses were against teams in the finals. So for a young team to make that kind of progress, I mean, it's hard to not be impressed. I think the outside noise, what she had to endure as a coach, and what they had to endure as a staff to keep that team focused and together. I mean, it takes time. It took a long time for teams that I've had to gel and to get together. I mean, years. It doesn't happen in 4 months. It takes a few years. So I was really impressed with the progress that they made and how, Christy is a resilient leader. She's a culture builder. I know just that she's got that kind of, stamina to stick to it and stick to her plan. And she's a good person and she's a great leader, and I was impressed with the way they finished.
Go, Tony.
Okay. She said she was impressed of the way the Indiana Fever finished. She said Christy is resilient to the way she stuck to it. Now, if you listen to what she was saying, she was giving Christy Sides praise because how the Fever schedule rolled out the beginning of the season. There's no indication, no inkling in her comments that she said, oh, well, I like what Christy Sides is doing. I want to build on what Christy Sides has done so we can move forward with the franchise. She never said anything about that. This notion of thinking about, oh, she's going to keep Christy Sides because she gave Christy Sides praise. Quite naturally, a person ain't going to. Rule number 1 in business, and this goes to the outside world also, when you have new management taking over your job, everybody's thoughts in their head is what? Am I going to get fired? Am I going to be released? Case in point, for my Washington Commanders, over a year ago, we get a new owner, we get a new GM. The old coach knew that his time was up. Now, the new owner didn't make a coaching change until the following year, after he was able to evaluate talent, evaluate the front office, and put the people that he needed in place. For Kelly's sake, she's already been in the franchise. She's been a winner. She knows what a winner looks like. She helped build the Indiana Pacers. So why would you think that she's going to keep Christy Sides? There's nowhere in that comment that she said, I'm going to move forward with Christy Sides. I'm going to allow Christy Size to continue to build this team. We're going to give Christy Size all the resources that she needs to be successful in the future. When you a person sitting back from afar and watching the debacle of Christy Size and the misuse of the talent on this team, Lynn Dunn gave away Celeste Taylor, cut Celeste Taylor. You know what I'm saying? The situation with Nalissa Smith. You understand? You had Alana Smith, who's over there playing in the WNBA finals with the Minnesota Lynx now. You had a piece that could have been very, very helpful to Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston. These are the mistakes that you continue to roll out and say, oh, now I'm going to go back to something. Y'all remember when Lynn Dunn was talking about the great job that Christy Size has done, and she said that, hey, she looking to extend Christy Size beyond, because Christy Size was up for her extension. She wanted to extend her more years with the team and pay her because of how the success of the team. But guess what? Kelly didn't say anything about an extension. She didn't even say anything about giving Christy Size more money. She didn't. She only gave her certain praise of how she handled the team through the rough start of the season. There is no indication. So when y'all come out here and say, "Hey, this is what it is," or she's going to keep Christy Size, I have to look at it in a whole different trajectory, because I have seen it in the I have seen it in the NFL, and I have seen it in the NBA, that coaches do not last long. If you think that Kelly came over there just to roll out Christy Size for another year in 2025 and try to bring talent over there to help build this team, and knowing that Christy Size cannot coach the current team, the current roster that she has, yeah, she was dealt a bad hand. But there is no way in God's green earth that they're going to roll out with Christy Size in 2025. Because the fact of the matter is, they looking to bring in talent. They're looking to attract talent. Indiana Fever has the three other biggest heads. Kelly already alluded to making sure that Kelsey Mitchell is top priority on this team. She already said they have a big three with Boston, Clark, and Mitchell. And you going to want to come and play with somebody like a Caitlin Clark because of what kind of talent she is. So to attract players to this team, they're not going to play for Christy Size because they already got tape on her. They already see what kind of coach she is. Yeah, Christy Size might be resilient. Yeah, she might be a culture builder, but she's not a coach. See, the difference between help building the culture, like Ron Rivera, for instance, for my Commanders, I have to go back to the analogy. He might be a culture builder, but he was never a coach. Your coaching record speaks for itself. It's unfortunate that the Indiana Fever are going in this direction, but it's necessary, folks. It's necessary. So now I'm going to play this clip again so y'all can understand and help break down just a little bit more of why I feel strongly about what I'm saying.
Mentioned evaluating everything, just kind of looking back on this season, last season, kind of from across the street, just how would you evaluate Christy Size and kind of her performance as a first-time head coach so far?
Yeah, I mean, what a roller coaster ride for her. I was smart enough to know that the schedule was stacked against a young team early in the season, and the way that they weathered the storm, got into a groove, after the Olympic break. I mean, I think she finished 18-12, after those first 10 games, and then of course went 7-4 in the last 11, and 3 of those losses were against teams in the finals. So for a young team to make that kind of progress, I mean, it's hard to not be impressed. I think the outside noise, what she had to endure as a coach, and what they had to endure as a staff to keep that team focused and together. I mean, it takes time. you know, it took a long time for teams that I had to gel and to get together. I mean, years. You know, it doesn't happen in 4 months. It takes a few years. So I was really impressed with the progress that they made and how, you know.
All right. Again, she's impressed with the progress they made. She understands that it takes time for a young team to gel because the team was new. She didn't say, well, hey, Christy Size did a remarkable job coaching this team. You know, she got the best out of this person. She got the best of that person. No, it's all about X's and O's. And like I said before, it's all about winning. You have to be in a position to take this team to another stratosphere. Yeah, she was dealt a bad hand, but guess what? We're not going to allow you to have another bad hand next year, because the fact of the matter is changes are going to be made. One thing I caution people to understand is that they already have who they're looking for as the next coach. That's already been evident. From what I have been told outside of this, when you did have teams in the playoffs and you looking for coaches, assistants to probably step in, or head coaches that might want to change scenery or whatever the case might be, then you have to evaluate everything. Could there be NBA coaches? Don't know. But there is one particular name that continued to surface throughout of this. And the name is Stephanie White. Yes, the former Indiana Fever coach who's coaching the Connecticut Suns, who just got bounced out the playoffs last night badly. As you can see on the sideline, the team was in flux, big time. It was in flux. You know, they have a roster full. They have a roster full of free agents. And if you think about it, they have Breonna Jones, Alyssa Thomas, DeWanna Bonner, Tiffany Mitchell, Ata Ador, Dejanay Carrington, who's a restricted free agent, and Caitlin Buckle, but she's a special free agent. So you think about this: DeWanna Bonner, Alyssa Thomas, and Breonna Jones, they're all unrestricted free agents. Now you could keep 4 through the draft. I mean 6 through the draft. There's a lot of decisions need to be made over there. They most likely could probably lose some of them players. So this is what they one shot to get to the finals. Now, for what I have been told, and I'm not saying there's concrete evidence, but what I have been hearing, because I speak to a certain person behind closed scenes, that Stephanie White is their top priority. Like I said, I don't know for fact if it's true or not, but if it is, and if between now and next week, Stephanie White was to leave Connecticut Sun, then she's going to be a Indiana Fever. They could definitely work it out. If you hear that Christy Size has been relieved of her duties, we already know there's the coaching change. Now, you could take this video of what I'm saying to you and come back and thank me later. If everything falls into place the way I think it should fall in place, again, they are, from what I have gathered from this first video, Christy Size is not going to be retained to this franchise going into next year. You got 2 of the biggest teams in the finals right now. Sandy Bardello with the Liberty, Cheryl Reeves with the Lynx. Neither one of them coaches leaving a team. So someone that's probably familiar with the team, or somebody else who they got their eye on, or another assistant. But make no mistake, through this conversation from her in that press conference, she did not say anything about Christy Sides remaining as the head coach. She gave her praise. She gave her flowers about how she endured the season, but then she didn't say nothing else. Now, the second clip of her, Kelly was saying about what she wants for the team. She wants to attract to the team, and why she attract, and because she's a winner. Listen.
Experience, probably some more size. And, if you look at the teams that are in the playoffs right now, they're loaded with players who have been there.
We go Scott, then we got one on Zoom from Howard.
Kelly, we know you're big on culture. What do you want to reestablish with this franchise in terms of culture? And what have been some of the big picture observations that you've been able to evaluate over the last couple of weeks in particular?
Well, I have high expectations, and I have high expectations first of myself, and then I have that of our staff and of our team. So number one, this is a place where players can come and get better and be surrounded by an organization that supports you. They're going to have everything they need to be successful. So if you have the right DNA and you love the game and you love to compete, then you're going to be a great fit, with this team, because we're about winning. I mean, this is a winning franchise. We've had constant success of winning and being in the playoffs. And, my plan is to return us to that level of consistency. And that takes commitment. That takes players that really are invested in being great players and being a great team.
Got one on Zoom from Howard Megdal, then we'll go back to Dave Calabro in the back. Howard.
All right. So if you missed the first part, I'm going to replay it again so you can understand what she particularly said in that first part.
Experience, probably some more size. And, if you look at the teams that are in the playoffs right now, they're loaded with players who have been there.
We go Scott, then we got one on Zoom from Howard.
Kelly, we know you're big on culture. What do you want to reestablish with this franchise in terms of culture? And what have been some of the big picture observations that you've been able to evaluate over the last couple of weeks in particular?
Well, I have high expectations, and I have high expectations first of myself, and then I have.
All right, that part. She has high expectations, and she has high expectations for her staff. That means she's going to have high expectations for her players. So, again, what high expectations do you think she will have of Christy Sides? Sides from afar that can't deliver. Because the thing about it is, if Kelly has high expectations, that's that high because guess what? She's done it before. Her resume speaks for itself. Amy Cox, she's done it before. Her resume speaks for itself. So what do you think them high expectations is going to look like for Christy Sides, who already showed that she can't deal with pressure? Pressure was too much for her throughout the season. Yeah, we gave her some grace. Yeah, we was on her neck here and there. But in the second half of the season, there still was mistakes that was being made. She was not proactive enough when it came down to the referees, protecting the players. She constantly would throw Caitlin Clark under the bus. She would throw a player under the bus. She doesn't take accountability for herself, for when things go wrong with the team. She always preaching the same rhetoric, and there's no other result. Kelly also said that they looking for high IQ players, people that want to come in and win right away. They're looking for veterans to come in to contribute to help bolster this team. You understand what I'm saying? Because the team is young. You don't want to have too many young players on the team, but you do want to have enough, you know what I'm saying, that can help keep the culture built, keep mix a little bit young and old. This is where I caution you again. There is no way that she's keeping Christie's sides because Kelly's expectations is too high. And if she already see that Christie's sides can't meet that expectation, then guess what? Why would you keep her along if she can't meet them expectations? We already seen this script from Christy sides throughout the whole season. Again, I caution you again. It goes back to the outside world. When you working at a job and new management comes in, they already evaluating who they want to keep, who they don't want to keep. Guess what? If your work performance doesn't speak for itself and it's kind of mediocre or middle of the road, hey, it was nice working with you. You did a great job while you was here. I hope everything is work out for you in the future. If you need a reference, anything, I got you. But they're not going to keep you. Again, I go back to the first video of how she was praising Chrissy sides. The first thing she said, hey, she's resilient. That means she's going to be fine. She's going to land back on her feet. She's going to get another opportunity. That's what it means. It does not mean, hey, well, we're going to pour all into Chrissy's eyes. We're going to give her all of the resources that she needs. Because if y'all go back to her press conference earlier, the key thing that Kelly said, and I'm going to touch on this again into part 2 of this video later today, they want to build around Caitlin Clark the same way they build around Tyrese Halliburton over there in Indiana. They want to be identical together. They want to run. Chrissy sides don't coach running. She doesn't coach running. They need a coach that understands running. You know, you could play tough defense, but at the same time, you got to get out and transition. You got to run. You got to put pressure on some of these teams with older legs, because a lot of these teams don't have young legs. You got to play. You got to wear them down. You got to beat them down by running on them and taking great shots. This does not fit Chrissy's size going forward, because Chrissy's size coaching style does not miss or what the future or what Kelly and Amy want for the Indiana Fevers to be. She wants the Indiana Fevers to look like the Indiana Pacers, and how the Indiana Pacers to look like the Indiana Fever. So again, you let me know what you think. Like I said, there's been rumors of Stephanie White, even though Stephanie White's team doesn't run, but they play hard defense. But maybe Stephanie White could adapt to that style because of who it is. There's names like Mark Jackson out there. I forgot the guy. Oh my gosh, I forgot his name that used to coach the Phoenix Suns. I mean, back in the day, he used to he coached the Houston Rockets with James Harden. They used to run up and down the court all the time, scoring over about 100 and something points, but they never had a great defense. You need a mixture or two. It's just like you can hire a defensive coach, but you can hire an offensive mastermind. Phil Jackson, Tex Winter. Knew I need to say more. So it could work. But Chrissy's size expectation does not meet Kelly's. So with that being said, I don't believe, and I'm wholeheartedly feel that Chrissy size is done. Now it's just a matter of time who's going to be her replacement. Like I said again, from what I have been hearing, Stephanie White is supposed to be the top of the list. Don't know for sure, but we'll see. But if it all comes to fruition, I will come back to you and I will reveal who I got my source from. But until then, I'm keeping it to myself just in case it doesn't work out. Because then if I'm wrong about Chrissy size not getting fired or being there, then I will come back and do an apology video to you. But again, I don't think I'm wrong. I think Kelly knows who she wants. I think she's been waiting. And this is just a matter of time before they allow Christy Size to move on to greener pastures where they could kickstart this team in a whole nother different direction. Because you look at Caitlin Clark's style, they want to run. They want to run. So therefore, they want to pair high IQ people that want to benefit, people that want to come and play with Caitlin Clark. And you got to think about this. All of them players that's free agents and stuff out there in the WNBA, they don't seen Caitlin Clark played in the All-Star game. And they all mesmerized by how Caitlin was getting on the ball, how it was easy for them. You don't think some of these players want to say, hey, shit, well, you know, I want to come to Indiana, but damn, the coach, the players is there, but the coach ain't. And that's a turnoff because as much as they want to come to play with Caitlin Clark, they're not going to come if Christy Size is still in place. So think about that notion too. The Indiana Fever is trying to get better. They can't take a step back if they're trying to take 3 steps forward. You know what I'm saying? So that's just my advice for y'all to understand that. Go back and listen to her press conference really closely and then dissect it down and to say, you know what? Hey, okay, you know what? Yeah. So with that being said, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell anytime I drop a hardcore video. And always, always at the end of my video, you know what it is. Now leave your likes and comments below because I do want to hear y'all thoughts on it, to which y'all may feel or think or anything else. But my feeling is she's done. Christy Size is done. Until then, I'm out.
Hey, so amazing. You see how they playing? LiveWire, it's all about sports and entertainment. You don't want to miss it, so official like you never seen. Keep it going till the whistle blowing from the referee. Everything from highlights and stats. You know that we gotta run it back, whether on the field or the court. You know that this is where it's at. Subscribe, no delaying. This is LiveWire, sports and entertainment. Let's go.